Hey guys, CapTech here, bringing you another video on information technology. Today, I am fixing my camera. Today, I want to go over how you should dress if you're going to a job interview, and how to prepare for a job interview if you're going for a job in IT, basically. So you see me right now. This is how you should be dressed. I'm wearing a suit, a tie. I'm getting up for a second. Have my suit, my tie. It's a little blurred out for some reason. I don't know why. And have my dress shoes. I look well prepared for an interview. So you should be well dressed. You shouldn't be wearing jeans, sweatpants, a polo shirt. It just doesn't look good. It looks really unprofessional. So the first thing I would say is dress to impress, which by that I basically mean you just dress properly. Don't dress like you're going to a party or something. Make sure you get yourself a suit and a tie. If you can't afford a suit, then just wear a tie. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to go with a suit. I prefer to wear a whole suit, simply just to make myself look more professional and also make myself look serious about my job and serious about looking for a job. So I prefer to wear a suit. If you just wear a tie, it should be totally fine. They won't discriminate or anything. So one of the most important things you want to do is before you go on an interview, make sure you find out more information about the company. Find out where they're located, where they're from, what kind of company it is, if it's real estate, if it's finance, if it's design, and whatever information you could get. Just get as much information as you possibly can about the company. The second thing you should be wary about is actually studying and making sure that your resume makes sense, and your resume, you know everything on your resume, because they'll probably ask you questions about your resume. They're going to ask you questions about this job, that job, what you did in this job, what you did in that job. And make sure you prepare for that as well. Also, make sure you prepare for any questions like any IT questions, any personality questions, like tell me about yourself. What you did in your last job, what do you do in your current job, why'd you leave your last job? Something like, why are you looking for a new job? They ask you all these crazy questions. So make sure you prepare yourself for those types of questions. Otherwise, when you go in unexpectedly, you don't know how to answer these questions. So make sure you prepare yourself for those questions. And also another important key factor is make sure you prepare to ask them questions. Make sure you ask them appropriate questions related to the job, and make sure you ask them questions that are basically related to that job, and ask them questions that basically make sense. Like, why are you hiring for this new position? Is this a new position? Yeah, it's a new position. Is it because the company is growing? The company's growing. You're looking to fill in this spot. Does your company allow for future education? For example, like, I want to make myself better as an employee. So I want to know if the company covers me if I do study certifications within that company. You can ask some questions like that, or ask some questions like, another example would be, since you're hiring for this position, what is the goal? What are you trying to achieve in the next 3 to 6 months with this position? What ideally, what are you trying to achieve with this position? That would be another question you could ask them. Another question you could ask them would be something along the lines like, would I be trained? Would someone train me to do this position? Would I just like right away start doing my job? Because some companies don't provide actual training. They'll just throw you in there and expect you to know everything. Another question to ask is, and this is like a personal question, it varies from manager to manager. You could ask them like something like you've been here, how long have you been in this company? And you ask them, and they answer you like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Why do you like working for this company? And ask them a personal question. And they're gonna be a little conflicted and confused, but it's good to ask them that question, because then you get to see what they think about the company, and you get to see what their thoughts about the company, the culture, and everything. So you can ask them a question like, why do you like working here? How long have you been in this company? And then they tell you. And then they'll tell you, you could tell them another question like, has anyone been recently promoted or moved up in the company? Is there an opportunity to grow in this company? And then they ask you, and then they'll answer that question as well. So you can ask them all all these questions. I like to bring a notepad or something, and I like to write down about 6 to 10 questions I could ask the interviewer, and I save some of them because sometimes you'll have like a 1 round interview and then that's it, and they'll decide whether they want to hire you or not. Other times it would be 2 to 3 interviews. If it's like a big company, like a hedge fund or something, they'll interview like 2 or 3 times before they decide whether they want to keep you or not. And then that's it. And if you work with an IT recruiting company, they'll let you know how to prepare. Like if you're working with a third party vendor, they will let you know what to do and how to prepare for those types of interviews. They'll tell you, oh, come in a suit and a tie, make sure you're 15 minutes early, make sure you have questions to ask them, make sure make sure you're properly prepared for the interview, make sure your resume is up to speed, make sure your technical skills are up to speed, you know how to answer any technical questions or any IT questions. They're gonna throw stuff at you. Like it depends on the company, but like some companies, like I worked in this hedge fund right now. Currently I work in a hedge fund. Before that I worked in another hedge fund, and basically they asked me all personality questions. It wasn't really IT related, and they asked me about my resume, but that's about it. They didn't really ask me any other questions. So it depends on the company. But the company before that, they're asking me all technical questions. How users having an issue with their computer, what would be the first thing to troubleshoot when they can't get online on their computer? And the important thing is, when you answer some of these technical questions, don't answer it on a definition. Give them an example of your experience, and that's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear they don't want to hear a technical answer. They want to hear like, oh, I went to the command prompt, I type CMD, I type IP config, and then I saw there's no IP address, which is the internet protocol, and then I noticed that there was no internet on this, and they don't do that. Don't answer it like that. The proper way to answer would be something along the lines like with an example. Oh, one time I had this scenario where this person had or this client had an issue. I don't like saying users. I don't like anyone. It's hard. Like I say user sometimes, but I don't like saying that. I don't like calling anyone a user. I like just saying client or the name of the person. I don't like saying user because it feels like, you call, if you, for example, call for your phone or something, they call you a user, it's going to be, it just doesn't sound right with me. So I would say something like, oh, this client is having an issue with, or Matthew, or whatever his name is, having an issue with blah, blah, blah. So one time, Matthew had an issue with his computer. His computer, for some reason, it lost internet. And I was trying to figure out why he was losing internet. So I went on his computer. First thing we did was I wanted to see if the physical cable was plugged in. And I saw the cable was plugged in, and there's a link light on the back of the computer, which means it's trying to get internet. And immediately I noticed that the internet worked for everyone else. So, basically what happened was the internet was working, but the problem is that we ran out of IP addresses. We ran out of numbers to assign him an internet number, or a number that allows him to have internet. So I had to go to the server, and I had to basically increase the scope of numbers and lease out more numbers. And I gave him a number, and all of a sudden his internet worked after that. And I went into the computer, I rebooted or restarted, and then he grabbed a new number, a new IP address, and it started to work after that. So that's an example of what happened to me. Another example, they start asking you like all these technical stuff, or they ask you an example of a problem you had that's really hard and difficult to actually. Who was the hardest customer you had, and how did you solve it? And how did you take care of them? So I had this other person. His name was Jeff. His computer was acting up. It kept restarting and rebooting. His monitor just wasn't working properly. So I went in. Lucky for me, I had a spare computer, so I swapped out his computer. I gave him a new computer. I made sure it was working. I made sure he logged in. I tested all the monitors, and he didn't have any issues after that. Shortly after that, about a day later, I sent him an email, and I actually follow up with him. I just wanted to make sure he was okay, and he said he was good. He didn't have any more issues with his computer. So I waited about 2 to 3 days before I could close the ticket. And I closed the ticket after that, and he didn't have any more issues after that. So we didn't have to do anything else, and he was a satisfied customer, and he was happy. He even appreciated the fact that I follow up with him. So So that's how you would deal with a tough customer. That's how you would deal with a tough issue. You follow up with the person. You make sure that they're not having any more issues, and make sure that everything's taken care of. And like, oh, give me an example of a tough customer that actually starts screaming and yelling at you, and then they don't, they just were giving you a hard time all the way. So I had this other client. He's not the most tech savvy guy in the world. I went to his computer. He was an SMD. His computer wasn't working whatsoever, and then I figured out it was just like something. Sometimes you have these like silly problems, like something his was more like the dock, because we have like laptops and use docking stations. So I grabbed the laptop. I undocked it. I redocked it, and then all the screens came up. And he's like, "How'd you fix it?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I just took the laptop out and I put it back in, and it started to work." He's like, "Oh, you fixed it for me, thank you." And I'm like, "I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that you're having technical difficulties. I appreciate all the patience you have. I apologize for you having to deal with this problem. I know you've been having this problem over and over again. You've been having it for 2-3 days now. You've been having the same problem. Because I looked at all the tickets from before, and everyone has been doing the same thing over and over again to fix this problem. So you have issues 3 times in a row of the same problem, and it gets really frustrating when you're having the same problem over and over again. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to see if it's a problem with the laptop or the docking station. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a new docking station, and I'm going to replace this one and put that in for you. And I'm sorry, what time are you working till? You're working till 5? Oh, you're working till 5? Okay, so I'll come by after 5 o'clock, and I'll replace the docking station for you. If you continue to have this problem, please email me, call me, or let me know. And I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow just to make sure you're not having that problem anymore. And then that's it. And then we'll go based on that. If you're still having problems, then I'll replace the laptop for you. But for now, let's just see if it's the docking station. So then that's what happened. And then I changed the docking station after 5 o'clock. I picked the time and a day to do it where he's not being interrupted. I changed it. I called him the next day in the morning. He said he's not having any issues. And he said, okay. And I'm like, I called him. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Scott, are you still having issues with your docking station laptop? No, today's good. Oh, you're having any more issues? No, it's okay today. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna leave the ticket open for another 2-3 days before I close it out. I don't want to close it out because maybe unintentionally it just stops working again. So let me leave the ticket open, and then I keep the ticket open for another day, another day, a second day, a third day, and then, hey Scott, I'm calling back to follow up on you. Are you still having issues with that docking? No, it's good. You close the ticket. If you have any issues, I'll reach out to you. And then that's basically what happened. And he had me close the ticket. I closed it, and he hasn't had any issues ever since then. So that's another example. You have to. The customer doesn't care about the technical jargon. They care about how you fix the problem and how to alleviate their situation. And they care that you have empathy for them. That's the most important thing, is caring for the customer and having empathy for them. So when you do these interviews, they're gonna ask you these questions, and make sure you give them an example that's not technical. Because when you give them a technical example, they're gonna be like, oh, he's just reading from a dictionary, or he's reading from a book. You don't give them actual examples of stuff that's happened to you in your life, or stuff that's happened to you in your job. So that's like the proper way to do it. If you don't have any examples to actually tell them, because it's your first job that you're going into, and just be honest with them. Like, I don't really, that's never happened to me before, but if it was up to me, this is how I would solve it. And then you tell them how you would fix it, but don't do technical. So don't be like, oh, I flushed out DNS, I released the IP address, I typed ping, I was pinging the printer because the printer was offline. It just doesn't work that way. You gotta be less technical. They don't like hearing that. They like to hear an actual example. They put you on the spot so they could hear what you're trying to say, and give them an actual example of how'd you solve that problem, how'd you fix that problem. So with these interviews, make sure you know how to do. Make sure you prepare for technical questions. Make sure you prepare for your resume. They're gonna ask for 2 to 3 references, so you might have to have references on your resume. Most of the time, they're gonna ask for references. Make sure you're dressed properly, obviously. Make sure you come 10 to 15 minutes early. You always want to be early in an interview. Make yourself look professional. Make sure you look good, and it also makes you look like you're a serious person. That you're not wasting your time. You don't want to be showing up 10 minutes late or 14 minutes late. It just doesn't look good. It looks totally unprofessional. So definitely do not do that. And then basically when you show up, make sure you shake their hand, look at them in the eye. Don't look at them too much. They might get intimidated. Look at them in the eyes. All about body language. Sit down properly. Don't sit with your hands like this. You can sit with your hands on like this on your hand on your lap. Don't look around. They're asking you questions. Don't look around like this. Like they start asking you a question. You're looking around. Don't do that. That's good. Just look at them directly in the face and answer the question that they're asking you. And don't if you're nervous, just be honest with them. I'm a little nervous. I haven't gotten in interviews in a while. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. They'll appreciate that you're being honest with them. So I'm a little nervous. I'm gonna answer that question. I'm a little nervous, and then just be yourself. Don't be anyone else. Don't be a fake IT guy. Don't be anything that you're not. And show that you're real serious about the job, but also show that you're passionate about IT. If you're passionate about IT and they see that energy that comes out of you, then I want to hire this guy. I definitely love this guy. Like me, when I went to my other interviews, I had like three people call me back and they wanted to hire me, but then I ended up choosing this job that I'm working on right now, this hedge fund that I work for, system admin. They all called me back, I like Kevin. He's so passionate about IT and technology. I literally walk in, I see the reception, I'm like, hey, good morning, how you doing? How's everything? Good. Are you here to see such and such? Yeah, I'm here to see such and such. How's your day? Well, my day is going good. Yeah, your day's going good. That's awesome. I'm here for an interview. Oh, you're here for an interview? You trying to fill up an IT spot? Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to sit over here and wait for him. Oh, okay, thank you. And then I go, as I'm getting called for my interview, I tell the reception, hey, thank you. I greatly appreciate that you took the time to call. You took the time to call them for me. And I go in the room. And then when we have the interview, finish the interview, and I'm like, thank you for taking the time for interviewing me. I know you're interviewing a lot of candidates. I greatly appreciate it, and it was a pleasure talking to you. And then you close it out like that, and then you leave. And then if all goes well and it looks like it's going well, you send them a thank you note or thank you email, thanking them for being in that interview, thanking them for having time, for them taking time in their life, because they probably have a bunch of a lot of stuff that they do. Thanking them for taking time in their life to interview you. You send them a Gmail account or email account, whatever, and just greatly, just tell them thank you, and that's about it. So that being said, this video is kind of long. This is how you will prepare for an interview. I hope I answered most of the questions. I hope everyone has a great day. Rate, comment, subscribe. As always, subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. I'm almost at 450 subscribers. I am getting close to 500. I greatly appreciate you guys, as always. If you need help with anything, if you need the CompTIA book, or if you need help with anything, or you want to ask me a couple of questions about, I guess, IT stuff or things related to this video, just comment down below or just send me an email. I'm always here to help. I'm not going to look at your question and ignore you. I love to help people. So just definitely shoot me an email or comment down below. I hope everyone has a great day. Take care. Bye.